Hi, I'm Amy Westerman, and I'm on my 7th week in the Take Shape for Life program. Within that time, I've been able to try 8 different Fuelings that I would consider heartier Fuelings, or the ones that taste more like eating a meal to me, like the pastas and things like that. So I wanted to go ahead and give you my input on those for any of you interested in trying any of these. And I'm going to do this by starting with a countdown from my least favorite to my absolute favorite. So let's get started. I don't actually have the box for my least favorite, number 8, which is the Medifast Tomato Basil Bisque. I got this in my first order and I shipped it back to trade it in for something else. I just hated this mainly because it tastes a little bit like cheese to me, and I don't do cheese. It makes me sick. I hate it. Just anything that tastes anything like cheese, I can't stand. So many of you might love this. It just isn't for me. And it's very thin. It was very, very watery, but then there were little chunks of food in there. It was just, I don't know, a weird texture. And I even kept one extra packet to try a week later after I'd gotten used to all of these new flavors, and it still was disgusting. I couldn't finish either packet. So that was my least favorite. Number 7, this one I was surprised by. I thought I would love the roasted garlic, creamy mashed potatoes, and I don't hate it. I do like it, but I don't love it as much as I thought I would. Here is a picture. This is the Optavia brand, excuse me. Here's a picture of what it looks like cooked. To this one, I just add a little bit of black pepper and maybe a little bit of dried parsley, or if you need any extra salt, I tried it with a pinch of garlic salt. I tried it with a pinch of truffle salt, and those definitely enhance those flavors. But it's really easy to over flavor these potatoes because they're already pretty garlicky and tasty. The issue with these is they're not a good potato texture. They're more like a grits texture. So they're kind of grainy. They're not smooth. I also like to add a little extra water than it says to on the packet to make it more like a potato soup. So I actually have ordered this again. Again, it's not bad. I just like so many more of them even more. And I like these garlic mashed potatoes. Then I also have a pretty strong opinion about these honey sweet potatoes. When I first tried these my first week, I loved them. They actually taste like sweet potatoes. The texture is smoother than the mashed potatoes. There's a little bit of cinnamon and sweetness, and I really liked it. However, I got really sick of that texture pretty quickly because a lot of our different Fuelings have kind of that same mushy texture. But one thing that I've done to fix that problem is to make this into a pancake. So the recipe for the pancake is for 1 package of the sweet potatoes. I add either a 1/3 cup or a 1/2 cup of water. If you want a more traditional textured pancake, use a 1/3 cup. But sometimes I like mine really thin and crispy, and a 1/2 cup of water does that perfectly. Also, you need 2 tablespoons of egg beaters. You need a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and then I like to add another 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, maybe a pinch of nutmeg, and cook that on medium-high heat until it's the texture you like. I cook mine a long time, maybe usually 3-4 minutes per side, just because I do like it a little crispier. And this is just the best pancake. It's fantastic. So now I'm buying extra boxes of this, not to eat them as they are described on the instructions, but to make them into pancakes because they are awesome. Love that one. And that one also is the Optavia brand. Okay, next up, I just got this Medifast brand beef vegetable soup. I'm very, very surprisingly happy with it. This soup, as you can see here, is a lot thicker than I would expect. It's much thicker than the tomato basil bisque was. There is actually a lot of good textures in here. You can see some vegetables. You can see a little bit of what looks like meat in there. It's pretty good. I've already eaten 3 of these this week, and I'm not sick of it yet. And it doesn't need any adjustments. It's great just the way it is. So that's awesome. Then we have the vegetable chili from Medifast. This tastes just like really good chili. It's so good. It is the heartiest, like it's the meatiest vegetarian option that I've tried. I absolutely would be fooled into thinking this was real meat in here instead of being vegetable only chili. It's fantastic. It's got a great like chili powder flavor. The only thing I add here is just a pinch of salt to help kind of bring out those flavors, but it's fantastic. Other than that, you know, the instructions are pretty good on this. It makes a good, thicker chili, as you can see here. Yeah, I like that chili. Next on the countdown, number 3, we have Hearty Vegetarian Sloppy Joe. This is also Medifast. This one, the texture or the looks of this one and the chili look similar, but their flavors are very different. And their textures are a little different. This Sloppy Joe texture, I feel like the meat, it's almost a little more al dente, it's a little chewier, but the longer you let that sit, the better it gets. All right, the more authentic it tastes like, you know, real meat instead of some kind of vegetarian substitute. But the flavor in this one is so good. It is sweet. You can definitely taste some sweetness, maybe a brown sugar flavor. You can definitely taste a little kick of heat in the back too. I love that. So it's very different than the chili, which is a little more one-toned. This one is fantastic. But what makes this one even better is I like to add fresh cilantro to it, as you can see here. And that fresh cilantro, oh my gosh, it just gives it this amazing freshness, and it's awesome. I love this one. Moving on to my number 2, I'm actually going to combine my 2 and 1 because they are very similar. My number 2 is the Medifast brand Ziti Marinara, but my number 1 is the Optavia Rustic Tomato Herb Penne. So both of these are pastas, both have marinara sauces, and I want to explain why this one's my favorite, number 1, over this one. And then I'm going to share what I do to both of these to make them a little tastier. So number 2, Ziti Marinara. This one is actually full of a lot of noodles, so you do feel like you're eating a lot of pasta. And it has a marinara sauce that tastes very meaty. I think it is not actual meat in there, but it's delicious. It tastes like a very hearty, meaty marinara. And it's very good, but it's a little one-toned. While my number 1 favorite, the Rustic Tomato Herb Penne, this has a lot fewer noodles. I think I usually count 4 per packet. But the sauce here, while it also has a meaty taste or a meaty essence, it has a lot more in-depth flavors. You can taste a lot more fresh tomatoes and herbs, and it tastes more like a traditional, delicious marinara sauce. They're both fantastic though, but I like this one the best because of the flavor. However, for both of these, what I like to do is, especially on days I'm going to the gym if I need a little extra protein, first thing I do is I add 2 small to medium size frozen shrimp. The shrimp should already have the tail off and be shelled. And what I do is, so I'll put the packet in, the amount of water it says, cook it for just a minute, then I add the frozen shrimp, cook it the rest of the time, let it sit, thicken up, and doing it that way, the shrimp is always cooked perfectly. It's never overdone and chewy, it's never undercooked. And the shrimp give it a little extra flavor. I love the flavor of seafood, and it just changes it a tiny bit. But it's just really tasty to have like a shrimp pasta on your diet. But I also like to add to both of them, I like to add about 1/8 teaspoon of garlic salt, just gives it a little more garlicky flavor, a pinch of black pepper, and always a 1/2 teaspoon of dry Italian herbs, or if you have a specific herb that you love, like parsley or oregano or basil, adding that really ups the flavor for both of these. So that's what I like to do to make those perfect. But again, y'all, try this Optavia Rustic Tomato Herb Penne if you haven't. It's super delicious. So guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any comments or suggestions for something else I should try, nothing with cheese, please, let me know in the comments and I'll definitely check it out. Thanks for watching.